Good afternoon. My name is Tim Adlin, and I am here to talk to you about microformats, and in general, and specifically talk to you about Oomph, a microformats toolkit, which is a product that we've developed on the MIX09 team. A little about me. Once again, my name's Tim Adlin. I'm a UX designer with the MIX09 team at Microsoft. I'm a coworker of the previous speakers. I don't know if you were in here for Joshua Allen's speech, but he's a member of my team. We are tasked with, basically, I am tasked with two things. One, I'm the creative director for MIX09. So I help put on the show. Most of the things that you see, I've had some sort of hand in designing, along with a lot of the members on my team, which have given me a lot of help over the last year or so as we've been planning the conference. So everything from the online experience to helping guide staging and t-shirts and all that sort of stuff, advertising, etc. My second role really is on the MIX09 team specifically. And what we are tasked with, as you might have heard before, is taking a look at emerging web scenarios and designing software, websites, as you saw, maybe data visualizations, etc., around these emerging web scenarios. We've been a team for about a year now. There's just a small team, a member of six members. A couple designers, a couple developers, and our head Thomas Lewis. So this is our site. It's at visitmix.com. It's really the community extension of the conference itself. So we totally welcome you to come and check out a lot of the things that we've done. Data visualization, microformats, and we're coming out with new products basically every couple months. We're going to be coming out with some jQuery design software, etc., as time goes on. But today I'm here specifically to talk about microformats. So what are microformats? Has everybody worked with microformats? Has nobody worked with microformats? People that have? Okay. So I won't go really deep into it since a lot of you have, but really quickly, microformats, as according to microformats.org, which is kind of the hub of microformats information, is designed for humans first, machines second. Microformats are a set of simple open data formats built upon existing and widely adopted standards. What that really means is we have a lot of things that we do when we build websites. So often when we're building sites, there's contact information. On my personal blog, for Tim Adlin at thunderkick.us, I want to put contact information there. Or, hey, I'm going to be speaking at MIX09, so I would like to have event information on this page. So taking a look at what a microformat is ways to designate that the information that you have on this page, let's say, is actually a contact card. So we have class equals vcard. Well, that designates that it's a microformat. So now, because we're using these standards, we can start, what's the word I'm looking for? Standardizing all of this information and being able to use it in different ways. So here's an example of a contact card, what we call a vcard. You'll see, we've got an organization URL, we've got a street address, postal codes, and it's very human readable. Like, you can understand what this is. Another example, we have events, right? So right at the top you see div class v event. That's pretty understandable. That's very human readable, right? And if you've ever done HTML markup before, this shouldn't be very intimidating. We have class date stamp, DT stamp, etc. So that shows you, okay, well, that's a date stamp, and that should be pretty apparent. So we took a look at microformats and said, well, this is really cool, and this is a burgeoning technology, and people are starting to adopt it. What can we do with it? So we went out there and did some investigating, and we came across this great add-in for Firefox called Operator. And what Operator does is it sits up in your toolbar and says, oh, there's some contact information, and pulls it out for you. So what we wanted to do, we thought that was a great idea, but we wanted to take it a step further. So we wanted to actually try to surface that information to the user in a much more friendly way. It's great that you have contact information inside the page, let's say, but if you have to go and search for it, that's not necessarily so user-friendly. So what we did is a couple of developers, and myself took it on ourselves to create Oomph, a microformat toolkit. And what we did is we took basically a three-pronged approach. We created a add-in for Internet Explorer. We created styles that people could use. And we also created an add-in for Windows Live Writer, so you could easily add contact information via the HCard format into your blog or what have you. So, and in doing the Internet Explorer plugin, we also kind of took a two-pronged approach on that, both making it an Internet Explorer plugin as well as making it downloadable, so even if somebody that comes to your site doesn't have the Internet Explorer plugin, let's say they're using Firefox or what have you, they will still get the Oomph Gleam. And when I say the Oomph Gleam, this is what I'm talking about, this little gleam up here in the left-hand corner. Let me pull up the Mix site. Here, I'll hit F11. We'll go full screen. You'll see up here in the upper right-hand corner a little gleam, and that's the Oomph Gleam. It lets you know that microformats are on the page. You click it, and it spawns out, and it bubbles up all the information on the page. So right now, we are only bubbling up event information and HCard information. So that's events and contacts. So what this has done is it's looked through the microformats that we have on the page and said, all right, we've got these things, let's pull them up so we can have them all right here. You also note down here at the bottom, we have some export options here. You can export to Outlook, Windows Live, Google, Yahoo, Apple, and 30 boxes. One of the things that Joshua had mentioned in his presentation, which I also want to stress, one of our foci really is keeping everything very open format, very technology agnostic. We're not necessarily, he uses Silverlight because it totally served his needs with his data visualizations. We're using jQuery here and microformats for this Microsoft project. As a side note, we all became very, very excited in using jQuery, and that has led to some other projects that we're going to be rolling out here in the near future. So definitely check back to visit MIX09 if you are a designer or interested in jQuery or any of the other things that we're talking about here today, of course. So you can export all of these events or contacts out to Yahoo, Outlook, as I said. We've also, we're pulling up all of the HCard information on this page. So right now we're just pulling up our keynote presenters. But once again, this makes it so you don't necessarily have to go and scroll throughout the page. Let me hit F11 once again. Close that up. Let's go back here. So, and once again, as you see, so basically trying to make it so a user-friendly way to interact with web pages in a slightly different way that helps the user, but also doesn't hurt the web designer too. We wanted it to be very, very lightweight and very unobtrusive. That's why we have just basically this little gleam up in the corner that ends up spawning out. We had taken a look at doing it a couple different ways, maybe getting it up into the browser Chrome, but that presents some difficulties that we ended up going ahead and walking away from and doing it this way, and taking power of some of the jQuery and other things at our disposal. Let's see. So in addition to the H cards and H calendars, there's also a lot of different types of microformats that are out there that are gaining some traction. Stuff like recipes, stuff like audio files. So if you go to microformats.org, there's a lot of really good information on how to format your data in a similar manner to what I showed earlier. Everything is really pretty straightforward if you've taken some time to understand, basically standard HTML and CSS. One of the things that we wanted to do with Oomph as well is, as you know, keep it open and open standards, as well keep it open to the community. So with our toolbar, it's totally extendable. People have taken it and ported it over to a Firefox plugin as well. We're talking with people about pulling in more different types of HCard and calendars and audios and being able to pull those sorts of things into the browser or the overlay. As well, you can download this for your site, mess around with just a little bit of simple code to gain this functionality for yourself. Basically, if you want exactly what you've seen here today, it's basically laying in a JavaScript call, and you've automatically got it for your site. And it's all totally extendable, so if you have particularly, let's say, a recipe site, let's say, or books, there's a microformat for books and authors and things like that. You can go into our code that we provide. It's all up on CodePlex. Download all of that information, download all that code, and you can mess around with it a little bit yourself, and it should be pretty straightforward. All of this information and all of this code you can access it through visitmix.com. We can go to visitmix.com labs Oomph. Let's go there right now. Lab. And here you can see all the information that we have up here. Give it just a second to load. We have a video tutorial that helps you, that will help you understand what Oomph is. As well, you can get involved with it a little bit more. It explains a little bit how to set it up. You can download the consume end. We split it up, as I said before, into 3 sections: consume, style. We have a bunch of styles available for microformats. Things that are glossy or rough looking so that you can go ahead and download into and use into your site. And then please download the Oomph HCard creator for Windows Live Writer, and that makes it very, very simple to go ahead and start creating microformats for yourself. So as time goes on, because it is such a simple standard, we've really seen a big leap in adoption over the last, 6 months since I really started getting turned on to microformats, and I really see this continuing to grow and being a really good standard that we can continue to build upon. And develop more tools like this that take advantage of the standardized data that we have all locked within our websites. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Are there any questions that I can answer? Yeah. Sure. Okay, so we used jQuery in particular. So we use the jQuery library. So the animation that you saw is all part of the library. So we basically just harness that, use some of that functionality. That's a basic HTML, CSS window that we added a little bit of a functionality to using that particular script. The question was particularly around jQuery and that library. Does that answer your question? Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and that's another reason that we chose to go with jQuery and JavaScript as opposed to something, let's say, like Silverlight, where there wasn't a whole lot of benefit that could be brought using that. We could have maybe done a little bit more animation or something like that, but really we wanted it to be as cross-browser compliant as we really could. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah. You know, the question was about are there aggregators for microformat information? And I haven't seen anything. This is probably the closest that I've seen to aggregation of microformatted information. I totally could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything like that out there. I know that search engines are starting to index it, microformats. But that process is still working itself out, and as microformats get more adoption and stuff. But does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay, anything else? Great. Well, I appreciate your attention. Make sure that you go to visitmix.com. Download our bits. We really welcome all your feedback. We've got commenting for all of our projects. We are publishing opinions and articles on a pretty steady basis. So we really welcome you to the community, and totally hope to see you there. And I guess the last thing is we hope that you will do your evaluations, and I hope you'll be kind. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.